Yo, what's good? It's Skano. I think it's time we get real about this opioid situation. So, Rich Homie Quan, man, passed away at 34 years old. And a lot of speculation regarding whether or not this was an overdose. A lot of people saying it was an OD. Some people saying it was a heart failure, heart issue. But I think what may have occurred was heart failure due to overdose. Um, as I was saying, man, we got to dispel this myth that the opioid crisis is like a white thing. Because when this shit first started bubbling up to the mainstream media, um, it was largely considered a white issue. Henceforth, it was called an opioid crisis. Remember, the crack epidemic, they went about that completely different. Abusers were given no type of leniency, no treatment, solutions. They were, pretty much villainized, criminalized. But when this opioid crisis broke out, it's been about what, a good 10 years at least, or approaching a good decade. Um, all of a sudden, it's a health crisis. And is that a coincidence that a majority of the opioid addiction uh, fell on, the white percentage? So therefore, I mean, it's not hard to connect the dots why it was considered a health crisis, and not a drug epidemic. So that being said, this is not a white thing. It's obviously a human thing. Uh, I don't know if niggas really be understanding what y'all be putting in y'all system and the type of effects that it has on you. Mixing certain drugs with alcohol, mixing certain drugs with marijuana. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the lean, and I'm speculating, I don't know what Rich Homie Quan was off on. You know what I'm saying? We know lean codeine is the most prevalent. Perks. The opioids. And this has been pretty prevalent in the black community, going on a good 5 years at least. At least probably longer than that, to be honest. Niggas been fucking around with pills. It just wasn't, like I said, um, it just didn't become so popular into this codeine syrup shit. The liquid form of it, kind of made the rappers start, what I'm saying, started that whole wave. And I think the popularity increased among young people, but older people already hip to opioids. But as far as, there was an epidemic in Cleveland during the 90s, early 2000s with wet, formaldehyde, embalming fluid. It go by many names, clinker juice, whatever you want to call it. That woo. And this new thing just swept through Cleveland. And at this time, nobody really was familiar with, but we heard it from some southern niggas. You know what I'm saying? And that shows you how music can influence. And yeah, everybody got their own mind. But popular culture and music can influence young minds. And I remember, 13, 14, 15, I'm jumping off the porch. Just started smoking a little weed, and I heard about the formaldehyde, from down south. I think it was No Limit, and them niggas was, talking about the clinker juice or whatnot. And all of a sudden, niggas want to see what that's about. Turns out, you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing to be messed with. I know plenty of dudes who done flipped out of their mind, literally as I speak, walking around not in their right mind anymore. Flipped out, beat their mama up, killed their baby mamas, killed their own niggas, going off of that formaldehyde, water, whatever you want to call it. And just not understanding the long-term effects and how this shit really is going to affect your mind, your heart. And with the codeine and the opioids, you could just slip off into a coma and just die. I mean, you could be 1 minute you chilling, the next minute your heart just stopped beating because your respiratory system shut down. And that's the thing with this codeine, man. It's insidious in that way that you could be doing crazy lean for 5, 10 years and then just chill. And then, pick back up in moderation. And that little bit of, you know what I'm saying, is enough to make you just doze off and you don't wake up again. Because like I said, man, when you're dealing with shit with your respiratory system, which is with the lean, the perks, shit like that, that's a dangerous game to play. But we live and learn. But this is all speculation at this time. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what, Homie Quan's the actual cause of death is at this time. But we do know that this lean, the perks, Xannies, that shit is just not in the white community. You know what I'm saying? This shit is definitely a black issue also. Like I said, it's a human issue, an American issue, because we love our drugs, right? Generally speaking. So, like I said, man, I don't want to get on here and get to speculating on what dude might have been on or what he might not. It's all speculation. But I would have to think at 34 years old, he was just at a concert or something last night, right? So dude has not had any health issues that no one, but we don't know these people's whole personal life. The dude could have a heart condition. But didn't this same shit happen with Enchanted? The same line of dialogue. Well, it was a heart issue. It's these opioids, man. It's flat out. The evidence is pretty much there. It's the opioid, that opioid game ain't no joke. So I don't think it's no coincidence that all of a sudden these people that's in the prime of their life, and like I said, I don't know their entire health history, but seemingly in the prime of their life just dropping dead. Come on, man. So obviously, and I know people want to keep this shit hush-hush and on the low, and I get that, privacy or whatnot. But it's obvious. I'm going to go so far as to say it was a drug overdose. And this shit is starting to get, we seeing a theme here. These so-called heart issues and heart conditions. And listen, man, you never know when your time is up. You could seem healthy and drop dead. I get that. But come on, man. So it's obviously something going on with it. And like I said, this is already common knowledge. And like I said, man, in our culture, particularly with hip-hop, we would jump on these different waves and, it get popularized and glamorized. And the young folks, like I said, not really understanding what they dealing with, mixing all this shit together. You popping this pill, you drinking lick, you're smoking, your gas, all that shit on your system, man. And it's like, at some point, your system gonna tap out. That's all to it. So, take care of yourself out there, man. And, I understand the struggles of addiction. You dig? I grew up around that shit all my life. I have close family members that struggle with different addictions. And I've seen it takes a toll on the family also, man, because you could kind of see what's coming. A lot of times, this is no surprise to the people around Rich Homie Quan. And it's one of them situations where, like I said, man, you staring into the abyss, and it's only so long before you get so mesmerized and hypnotized that you fall over the edge. And pertaining to these opioids, man, once you fall into that, down into that trap, it's hard to dig the fuck out of there, man. It's an uphill battle probably for the rest of your life. Because that shit there, that's some extra shit. But it's enough woo-woo from me. So Rich Homie Quan dead at 34. I'm going to go so far as to say it probably was an overdose. 216 Skano, you already know.